Alright, this is Aeneas, Book 1, lines 19 through 28. Some historical context of this is that Juno was previously talking about her cherished city of Carthage, and this passage goes on to describe how Carthage was doomed to be destroyed by descendants of Trojan blood, and it goes on to allude to Juno's great disliking for the Trojans. Alright, let's dive right in here. Said Enem, but indeed, and then we move to the verb adierat. She had heard, which is referring to Juno. Juno had heard. And then this opens up an indirect statement with the accusative noun progenium as the subject of the indirect statement. So she had heard that the descendants, and then it moves to this present passive infinitive verb, which even though it is present, it's going to take the pluperfect from adierat, that whole timeline thing. So she had heard that the offspring, which is referring to the Romans, had been derived from Trojan blood. So Troiano sanguine is ablative. It's the object of the preposition a. Who and quae is a feminine singular referring to the offspring, who would one day, overturn, and this is subjunctive of characteristic because it is a characteristic of the offspring that they would one day overturn the Tyrian strongholds, which is referring to Carthage, and it's alluding to the Punic Wars in which the Romans destroyed Carthage. Alright, Hink, from this source, would come, this is an FAP, a people ruling, and this can be taken as the participle regnatem, a people ruling far and wide. And proud, superbum is a predicate modifier of populum, and proud, a people proud for the destruction of Libya. And this is a dative, excidio is a dative of purpose, so that's where they're proud for the destruction of Libya. Sic volvere parcas is thus the fates unfolded, and volvere is a historical infinitive, and the fates, of course, are the three sisters who spin the thread of life and determine the fate of all men. Alright, Saturnia, the daughter of Saturn, who is Juno, fearing this, mentuens is participle. This is referring to the destruction of Carthage. So the daughter of Saturn, fearing this, and mindful. This is a predicate modifier of Saturnia. So Juno, mindful of the old war, which is referring to the Trojan War, which she had waged as a leader, and this is an implied ea. It's not actually in the text. Against Troy, on behalf of her dear Argos. And Argos here, Argos is a center of worship in Greece, so this is really referring to all Greeks. So on behalf of her dear Greeks. Alright, now we really get into the reasons for Juno's great disliking of the Trojans. Nectum etiam, not even yet had the causes of her anger and savage grief exited her mind. And now it goes on to list some of the reasons for her savage grief. The judgment of Paris remains stored up. This is a PPP, deep in her mind. And the insult to her scorned beauty, another PPP. And the hated race and wisdom is yet another PPP. And the stolen honor of the stolen honors of Ganymedes, yet another PP rapti here. And all of these things allude to historical events that have stirred up Juno and given her this great disliking of the first allusion is to the famous judgment of Paris, in which he chose Venus over Juno in basically what was a beauty contest, and in return Paris was given he was given Helen, the most beautiful woman, and that started the whole Trojan War, and it greatly insulted Juno's beauty. He goes on to allude to the hated race, which is referring to the Trojans, who, according to prophecy, were to destroy Carthage, Juno's beloved city, and it alludes to the stolen honor of Ganymedes, who was a royal Trojan boy who Jupiter fell in love with, and an eagle brought him into heaven, and he was Jupiter's beloved there, and he was made to be the cup bearer. And Juno was known to be greatly jealous of Jupiter's love for this boy, Ganymedes. So that is book 1, lines 19 to 28. Yep.